Welcome back, baseball fans. We are back in our Legends in the Making playthrough. We are all the way up to 2006 now. We have 20 seasons left in this playthrough to see where things stack up compared to real life. We are personally, I'm trying to chase down the Yankees in their 27 World Series wins. We're at 23. We've been stalled since the year 2000. The last 5 have not gone our way, even though we've been making the World Series and the playoffs. This season, 2006, in real life is where we saw the Cardinals actually win. They beat the Tigers 4-1. They only won like 80-something games that season, but they did it. David Eckstein was the World Series MVP that year. The season MVP was Justin Morneau for Minnesota, and then Ryan Howard for Philadelphia, while the rookies of the year were Justin Verlander and Hanley Ramirez for the NL. And then the Cy Youngs were Johan Santana playing for the Twins and our guy, Brandon Webb, for the Diamondbacks picking it up. So we're going to hope he can repeat that in our simulation here. Unlike Carpenter. Carpenter did not get it last year. So our lineup this season, we've got Ichiro, Omar Vizquel, Aramis Ramirez. We did go inside Big Papi, David Ortiz. We were able to splash out some cash, $17 million a year for 11 years to get him. Jim Edmonds in left, Adrian Beltre in third, Brzezinski in center, and our catcher and Corey Patterson in center. We let Andrew Jones go because he had peaked, and we spent the money on Ortiz instead. Our rotation is going to be Chris Carpenter, Pedro Martinez, Brandon Webb, Mark Burley, and Zach Greinke. We made a trade here. We traded for Adam Wainwright. I traded away Carlos Zambrano because he was going to be too expensive to sign. Even though he's going to be good this season, I had to go with my heart and bring Waino to the Cardinals, and so I'm excited to have him with the team. Other additions, we signed Galarraga to be our backup catcher. He was out there. He'll be fine. Stephen Drew's been moved up to play backup along with Rajay Davis. And then we also signed Dusty Allen to just be a backup for us as well. Other than that, no other changes to the pitching rotation. Let's take a quick look at the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. There was only one added in this season, and it was Ricky Henderson with 99.1% of the vote on his first year. Ripken was so close. Winfield there, but then we've got others that are Dawson's falling farther away. Gooden, Bostock. Ozzie Smith is running out of options. Eddie Murray on his first year did not make much of a splash. So it's going to be interesting to see if anybody, it's gotten really, really tough to get in. Ricky made it. He had his 1,082 stolen bases, 127 WAR, 1 MVP, a Rookie of the Year, 3,300 hits. But that's where we're at going into this season. It's going to be interesting to see if this new look lineup and team is going to have the same pop that the last few have had. But hopefully we can get there. And so with that being said, let's jump to the All-Star break. Well, we are in a fight for this division this year. And just to get into the playoffs even, we're sitting at 49-38, a game and a half up over the Pirates, while the Mets are steamrolling again with 53-36, 9 games up over the Nationals. They've got Roland and Tomey and Dave Roberts. They're doing their thing. I don't know how it's their starters ERA, I guess, it runs against, because their defense isn't that amazing. Their offense isn't that amazing. But Burnett, Brad Penny, Chris Young, Javier Vasquez, I guess that's what's doing it. And the Giants are 56-33, led by Ty Wigginton on offense and Greg Norton. I don't know. They can not score runs, but they don't allow runs, and their defense is great. James Shields, Matt Morris, Barry Zito, Kip Wells. Interesting. The Padres are sitting a game up over the Pirates for the wild card, so we got to be careful here. We're only a game and a half up. It's going to be a tight race. Meanwhile, the Orioles, where they brought Bonds back, who's actually getting to play this time, has 18 home runs and is hitting 300. He's sitting at 825 home runs for his career. That's insane. They're 2 games up over the Red Sox. The Royals 2.5 up over the Twins, and the Angels 6 up over the A's, while the Red Sox are a game up over the A's in the wild card with the Twins right behind. When we look at our league leaders so far, Vladimir Guerrero is sitting with a 346 average. Jermaine Dye, 29 home runs. Mark Teixeira, 80 RBI. Carl Crawford has 21 stolen bases. Travis Hafner, a 1004 OPS. Carlos Beltran, 4.5 WAR. Chipper Jones, 24-game hitting streak. Roger Clemens, a 2.54 ERA and 12 wins. Carlos Zambrano, knew he'd be good, 114 strikeouts, but his ERA is taking a beating for Oakland there. Chris Ritzma with 19 saves, and CC Sabathia for the Blue Jays with a 3.6 WAR. In the NL is Freddie Sanchez hitting 351. Albert Pujols, 32 home runs, along with 79 RBI. He's got a 336 average there. He's making another run at the Triple Crown. Jose Reyes has 37 stolen bases. Pujols with an 11.13 OPS and a 4.5 WAR. Ichiro, 26-game hitting streak. He's hitting 327 for us. He's on pace to score 100 runs again and get 229 hits. So it looks like he's just doing his Ichiro thing. ERA goes to Joe Blanton at 2.13 ERA. Francisco Liriano and Johan Santana and Dontrell Willis all with 10 wins. Ben Sheets was a 131 strikeouts. Dennis Baez with 27 saves. And Pedro Martínez with a 3.9 pitcher WAR. He's got a 3.02 ERA, 111 strikeouts, and he's 8-3. When we look at our lineup, Ortiz is doing fine with 26 home runs. Ramirez is hitting 316, has 64 RBI. Beltre back here is doing great as well. Edmonds is struggling a little bit. Brzezinski's doing fine. Patterson's okay. Vizquel, okay. The pitching's doing fine outside of Zach Greinke is really struggling this season. We might have to make a change here. I mean, after all, he doesn't really become Zach Greinke that we drafted until 2007 next season. So I don't know what we're going to do there. Wainwright's struggling as well. So we don't have a pitcher back here that we could put in. This bullpen's maybe being overworked a little bit, but we have nobody back in that we can bring up that's ready to go, that we can also send down, because right now Dusty Allen and Rajay Davis are both doing just fine as backups, hitting the ball pretty well. So that's where we're at as far as the all-star rosters go. Roger Clemens has the start for Detroit. Rob Nin at relief. Victor Martinez for Detroit at catcher. We've got Cliff Floyd at first base. Travis Hafner also. Jeff Kent at second. A-Rod for Detroit has 18 home runs at third. Carlos Guillen at short. And then Bonds, Beltran, and Guerrero in the outfield. In the NL, it is Johan Santana getting the start. Pedro made the team, though. Rivera made the team, but Francisco Rodriguez gets the start in relief. Michael Barrett at catcher. Albert Pujols at first. Aramis Ramirez at second for us. David Ortiz also made the team. We've got Scott Rowland at third. Derek Jeter at short. And in the outfield, it was Manny Ramirez, Milton Bradley, and J.D. Drew. So the home run derby was Ortiz defeating Pujols 7-6 in the final round. So this is going to be a tight one. I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs or not and how this thing's going to play out, but I'm excited to see how it goes. So with that being said, let's jump ahead to the end. And the season, we squeaked by the Brewers by a game, came down to the last day of the season. And the Brewers got in, though, 3 games up over the Reds in the wild card. The Giants had the best record in the NL this year, 8 up over the Padres with 95 wins. The Mets slumped in the second half, still won the division yet again, 4 games up over the Nationals. The Red Sox, 3 games up over the Orioles, but the Orioles have made it in as the wild card. The Royals with 90 wins, 3 games up over the Tigers, and the A's with 91, 4 games up over the Angels. But in the playoffs, as we so often expect to see, we were let down. Won the first one, lost the second, won the third, and then lost by 1 run in each of them. Our fantastic bullpen, not enough. We go down to the Mets. The Mets then went down to the Brewers. In 7 games, the Brewers came back to win 3 in a row. Ryan Church was the MVP. They go on to meet the Royals in the World Series, and the Royals win in 7 games of their own, winning 3 games in a row, with Mark Teixeira being the one who brings home the first World Series championship for the Kansas City Royals. So congratulations to them, even though it's at our expense. When we look at the leaders of each league, A-Rod had a .330 batting average, Berkman with 43 home runs, 137 RBI as well. He had a .275 average, though, which cost him the Triple Crown. Carl Crawford and Sean Figgins both had 38 stolen bases. Bonds with a 103.6 OPS. A-Rod a 7.8 WAR. Chipper Jones, 24-game hitting streak for Baltimore, who has Bonds and Chipper, Adrian Gonzalez, King Griffey Jr., and Frank Thomas, granted not at the Carl Crawford. No wonder they were first in runs scored, but their pitching is atrocious. But man, they've got a lineup. We've got Roger Clemens leading the way for the Tigers with a 2.88 ERA at the age of 44. Zambrano did have a good season. Roger Clemens, 21 wins. Cole Hamels, 213 strikeouts. J.J. Putz, 36 saves. And CC Sabathia at a 6.9 pitcher WAR. In the NL, it was Todd Helton hitting 336. Pujols and Manny both had 59 home runs. Aramis Ramirez, though, drove in 133 for us. Jose Reyes, 61 stolen bases. Pujols, a 109.1 OPS. J.D. Drew with an 8.1 WAR. Ichiro, 26-game hitting streak. Joe Blanton with a 2.6 ERA. Brandon Webb, 19 wins. Ben Sheets, 227 strikeouts. Derek Thurnbow with 43 saves. And Ben Sheets with a 7-pitcher WAR. Pedro with a renaissance, doing amazing. But he has opted out of his contract, as we expected he would. But at this point, it's probably for the best in the long term for our team. We do have money to spend now, $34 million, $45 in extensions. When you look at who we have in our contract, Ortiz is locked up, Beltre's locked up, Rivera's locked up, Burley's locked up. We've got Ichiro for several more years. Aramis Ramirez is locked up. Brzezinski's locked up. We did execute the option on Edmonds so we could have an outfielder. Vizquel opted out. We're going to let him go. We have Brandon Webb locked up potentially, but he's got an opt-out, but that's also when his injury knocked him out. Chris Carpenter we have locked up. And so I like where we're at. We can make some moves in the free agent market potentially as well. We do have Adam Wainwright, got him locked up as well on the cheap. But the question is, will we have anybody coming up that can make a difference for us? Because right now, no one is really there to do that. Yeah, I mean, J. Happ maybe, Jeremy Guthrie, So we've got to figure something out to try to get some players. And now before we take a look at the awards, we are going to jump to the first-year player draft because that one's up for some reason instead. The big names in this draft, well, when we look, let's first look at the mock draft. We are expected to take Daisuke Matsuzaka. I would not mind that. Oh, yeah, he didn't really pan out, did he? Thought he was going to be a whole lot better. Freddie Freeman's expected to go first. Liam Hendricks is in this. Jose Altuve, Josh Donaldson, Giancarlo Stanton, Jan Segura, Corey Kluber, Max Scherzer, Anthony Rizzo, Jordan Zimmerman, Jaime Garcia is back in this one. Yeah. Jason Hayward, Salvador Perez, Greg Holland. Didn't he do well for the Royals? He did, but wasn't for too long. Well, we'll see who falls to us. All right, let's kick this thing off. First pick in this draft to Arizona, it's going to be Max Scherzer. Liam Hendricks goes to the White Sox. Jose Altuve, oh, look at that, goes to the Astros. Corey Kluber to the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman to the Yankees. Jonathan LaCroix to the Devil Rays. Giancarlo Stanton to the Blue Jays. The Mariners get Josh Donaldson. Corey Lupke to the Phillies. Nate Jones to the Marlins. Tony Watson to the Braves. Jan Segura to the Cubs. Charlie Furbish to the Rangers. Cleveland gets Matt Latos. Pittsburgh, Jordan Walden. Kelvin Herrera to the Twins. The Rockies pick up Devin Mesoraco. Jordan Zimmerman to the Nationals. Greg Holland to Cleveland. Jaime Garcia to the Angels. The Reds get Starling Marte. Man, nobody is left here in the pitching categories. Daisuke's still there, but he's, as we've seen, not going to be that great. We need some hitters. Jason Hayward for defense. Thought he was going to be a star. That didn't work out. Salvador Perez is there. That would be a steal, which means he's going to go very soon. Josh Reddick to the Tigers. Lucas Duda to the Padres. David Robertson to the Orioles. The Mets get Jason Hayward. Todd Frazier to the Brewers. Anthony Rizzo to the Royals. Zach Cozart to the A's, which means Salvador Perez is there. I don't know why we wouldn't take him. We've got to take Perez, right? I mean, 20 home runs from the catcher every year, 48 one year. I don't know. Ben Reeve didn't last very long. Not bad, though. No, he doesn't have the home runs. I thought he could have sworn he hit more home runs than that. He didn't hit any. Yeah, we're going to take Salvador El Nino Perez. That's a win. We've got then the Red Sox are going to take Alex Colomé. And then the Giants get Sean Doolittle. So I'm going to wrap up this draft, come back then to the awards. Now it's time to take a look at the award winners now that they're done. Remember, this was Justin Morneau in the AL, Ryan Howard in the NL, Yohan Santana won the Cy Young in the AL, Brandon Webb in the NL. Our rookies of the year were Justin Verlander and Hanley Ramirez. So let's see how that stacks up. In the AL was Jake Westbrook, Elizer Alfonso, Nick Swisher. This is the Gold Gloves, by the way. Ricky Weeks at second. Eric Chavez at third, so he is just rubbing it in. Pedro Feliz at short. Nick Markakis and Jason Tyner and Jay Gibbons in the outfield. Jason Tyner, I do not know him. That's probably why. NL, it was Brian Holman at pitcher, Giovanni Soto at catcher, Richie Sexson at first, Jamie Carroll at second, Freddie Sanchez at third, Adam Everett at short, and then Reed Johnson, Willie Tavares, and Gary Sheffield in right. Sheffield is up to 521 home runs, which is more than he ended, and he did play 2007, 2008, and 2009, in which he added another 50-ish home runs. So it's going to be interesting to see if he does make it further or not. AL reliever of the year went to Ryan Dempster, beating out BJ Ryan. Dempster had 32 saves and 1.52 ERA. Rivera picks up his third reliever of the year, first since 2001, and he gets it with, not unanimously, Derek Turnbow, Jeff Parrott also picked up first place votes, but Rivera had 37 saves, 2.15 ERA, 7-4 record. Silver Sluggers in the AL go to Brian McCann, who hit 321 at catcher. Carlos Delgado at first, picking up his third one. Marlon Anderson at second. A-Rod at third, 36 home runs, 330 average. Bill Hall at short. Who is Bill Hall? Oh, he did have a monster one in Milwaukee, didn't he? 2 good seasons, and then just poof, disappeared. Barry Bonds in left, Torrey Hunter in center, Larry Walker in right, and David Wright as the DH. So Bonds, 40 home runs, puts him at 847. That's crazy. In real life, he had another 28. So he might play till the 45. He could push 1,000 at that rate. Larry Walker continues to impress as well. In the NL, it was Dontrelle Willis hitting 4 home runs at pitcher, Josh Bard at catcher, Albert Pujols, who is going to be a free agent. We might make a run at him, but the problem is he plays 2 positions that we already have players at. So I don't know if that's going to be worth it, because we'll have to think about it. Because we have a Ramos Ramirez hitting second base for us. Troy Gloss there is at third, gets it. Jose Reyes at short, Manny Ramirez, Grady Sizemore, and J.D. Drew in the outfield. Is Manny going to be a free agent? He is not. They got him for $11 million a year. AL Rookie of the Year was Brian McCann. Justin Morneau did finish there, but in second. He had 34 home runs in real life, 130 RBI. Here he only had 28 and 102, while McCann had 28 and 118 while hitting 321 here. In the NL, it was Robinson Cano. Verlander did get 3 first-place votes. Not enough. And it was Cano, though, with 15 first-place votes, 11 home runs, and 335 average. The Cy Young goes to Roger Clemens in the AL for Detroit. His third one, 21 first-place votes, beating out Carlos Zambrano. In the NL, it is Pedro Martinez winning his 1, 2, 3, 4th, 5th one, first since '03. Oh, he's had a career. Brandon Webb did get up there. No first place votes, though. Santana and Liriano and Sheets were the other ones receiving some votes. It was A-Rod picking up the MVP with 20 first place votes. Also receiving first place were Bonds, Delgado, Teixeira, and Beltran. But it was a clear victory for A-Rod. And it was Pujols unanimously in the NL, which is one reason why we take a shot at him. I mean, we have Aramis Ramirez. Pedro got some points. And we do have Adrian Beltre. That's the only problem. Where the heck do we play these guys? We could play him at short, I guess. I mean, Ortiz. We need the DH. That's what we need. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to wrap this season up, and I'll jump ahead and get us to 2007. Well, it's that time again. We are at opening day 2007, and we have made some changes to this lineup. Before we go over our changes, let's take a look at what really happened in this year in baseball, where it was the Boston Red Sox winning in a sweep over the Colorado Rockies in the World Series. The MVP awards went to Alex Rodriguez and the AL, and then in the NL, it was Jimmy Rollins, the first shortstop to be named MVP since Barry Larkin did it 12 years earlier. CC Sabathia won the Cy Young and the AL, and then the National League, it was Jake Peavy doing it for the Padres, and he actually won the pitching Triple Crown that year. And the Rookie of the Years went to Dustin Pedroia for Boston, and it went to Ryan Braun for the Brewers. So we will see if any of those guys are able to repeat those feats. We're hoping one of them does, particularly Alex Rodriguez, because that brings us to our first change. We actually had a chance to trade for him. Joe Nathan was going to cost us a lot of money. His contract was going to be up. So we traded him and Jeremy Guthrie away to get A-Rod, because A-Rod is on a much cheaper contract, not by a lot, but we got him for 2 years before he's going to opt out probably. But we got him instead of Pujols because Pujols was going to eat up all of our free money. So now we have Ichiro, Edmonds, A-Rod, Ortiz, Aramis Ramirez, Adrian Beltre, Delman Young in right field, and AJ Pierzynski. Another change we made, though, is we brought in Yadier Molina, and we were able to get him for Rajai Davis, Tony Barnett, Juan Bencomo, Travis Buck, and Tim Cantu. So I'm excited about that one. We also signed Royce Clayton to be a backup, a cheap backup in the infield. So we'll have him there. And in the pitching staff, we've got Brandon Webb, Chris Carpenter, Zach Greinke, Adam Wainwright, and another new signing, Tim Hudson, who we picked up for 7 years at about $8 million a year. You'll also notice in the bullpen, Rob Nin was offered to us in a trade. We were able to trade away Stephen Drew and Jason Bolger. This is why we signed Royce Clayton as a backup. And they're going to keep about 80% of his salary, or 60% of the salary. They give us a little bit of money. And so we have him for 1 year, but he offsets Joe Nathan. And I'm excited because he has been dominant, absolutely dominant for a long time. And he's going to be our setup guy here. So I'm hoping we have the overall bats to do it. And this is a stellar pitching staff ready to go. And I'm hoping it's going to be enough to get us to the promised land and get us yet another World Series. Oh, look at this. Jake Peavy, Cy Young winner, is available for the trade network. Yeah, nobody's going to be able to get him, though. He's 25, so he'll be a free agent next year potentially. That's something to look out for if Atlanta doesn't re-sign him. Okay, with that being said, let's find out how this season goes. Well, we are in the tightest race we've ever seen in this 80-plus years of this running. We are a game and a half back in 5th place, no less. So the Reds are just barely hanging out. 6th place, the Pirates are 45 and 45, just 2 games back. Look at the Mets, only 2 games up. Everybody's tight here, just except the Phillies and the Dodgers are the only ones out of contention. We are actually 4 games back behind the Marlins for the wild card. So this is a crazy season. You look at the Yankees, 2 games up over the Red Sox. Their whole division's tight. The Tigers have breathing room, but that's it because the A's are only 3.5 up over the Angels, who are a half game up on the Red Sox. So this is the tightest pennant race we have yet to see. When we look at the league leaders, Matt Holliday is batting 356. Ryan Braun and Albert Pujols both with 28 home runs. I'm glad Pujols went over to the American League. Lance Berkman with 80 RBI. Carl Crawford, 24 stolen bases. Brad Haupt with a 1055 OPS, while Holliday a 4.9 batter WAR. Andre Ethier with a 22-game hitting streak, while Roy Halladay, Doc Holliday there, a 2.98 ERA. Dave Bush with 11 wins. Sabathia with the 120 strikeouts, J.J. Putz, 24 saves, and Holliday with a 4.4 pitcher WAR. In the NL, it's Scott Spezio hitting 346. Ortiz is up there, though. Jim Thome with 31 home runs. Again, Ortiz is up there. And Corey Hart with 67 RBI along with Soriano. Ichiro has 30 stolen bases. Ortiz with an 1131 OPS, but Thome has a 4.7 WAR. Derek Jeter had a 26-game hitting streak. While on the pitching side, Chin-Ming Wang has a 2.02 ERA and 12 wins, but Eric Bedard has 125 strikeouts. Kevin Gregg with 25 saves, barely besting Hoffman, who moved to the closer role after Rivera botched some big postseason saves. Jake Peavy with a 3.7 WAR, and I think he might have been re-signed. Yes, he was. So we didn't have that. Now, before we take a look at the All-Star teams, I forgot to show that Wade Boggs was the only one to get into the Hall of Fame this year, almost unanimously. Ripken has missed out. Raines has missed out. Winfield continues to. Smith continues to. Dawson slips down. So it's going to get tougher and tougher for some of those to get in. Now, let's take a look. Oh, look at this. Chipper Jones with 2,500 hits. Is Bonds still over here? No. Let's see where Barry Bonds is, because I'm interested. He's with the Tigers, and he has 15 home runs. He's still getting things done. The Tigers signed somebody else. Who was it? Kenny Lofton. Maybe that's who stands up. But they have Berkman, Lofton, David Wright, Victor Martinez when he was really good. Wow. Oh, Joe Nathan. That's right. We gave him to him. Or I guess he signed with them. No, we traded. That's right. To get A-Rod. Okay. Interesting. So let's take a look at the All-Star teams. The home run derby was actually won by Jim Thome. No, Ortiz beat Jim Thome. Good job. Doing it at home as well. Busch Stadium. So let's see the rosters. In the AL, it was Johan Santana at starter, Francisco Cordero at closer, Brian McCann at catcher, Albert Pujols and Frank Thomas both getting it. Frank Thomas, the big hurt, getting it done at 39 years old. Michael Young at second, Chipper Jones at third, Scott Brosius at short, Matt Holliday in left, Carlos Beltran in center, and Vlad gets it in right. In the NL, it's Ben Sheets at starting pitcher spot. Mariano Rivera gets on the team, but Francisco Rodriguez gets the closer role. Joe Mauer at catcher, David Ortiz at first, Matt Stairs at first as well, Hanley Ramirez at second, Scott Spezio at third, A-Rod gets it at short, Manny Ramirez in left, and Vernon Wells in center field as well. Oh, is that the only? Just two outfielders. Interesting. I guess because Stairs and Ortiz both got it. I think Ortiz is going to go out there and play outfield. That I don't know. So we are surprisingly struggling to score runs. That's what shocks me. The pitching's doing okay, but again, not as good. Rob Nin has been a disappointment. He's getting back on track a little bit. We signed Bob Wickman also, who's been a disappointment. I tried to make a pitch for a Soriano to add a bat, especially in the outfield, but it was to no avail because Edmonds, this is his last year with us. And if we could find somebody else, that'd be great, but we may have to go find somebody in the free agent market, which seems to be what we have to do. But this is an exciting race. Hopefully when it plays out, we're going to make our way up to the top, but I don't know. It's going to be a crazy, crazy one. So let's see what this season has in store. Well, it was an outstanding second half of the season as we went, about 50-22, 50-23 in the last half of the season. So after the All-Star break, to win the division by 3 games, The Reds, though, got the wild card. The Mets once again won and won by 15 games. And then the Giants were able to win by 4 over the Padres and Diamondbacks. The Yankees finally making it back to the playoffs again, 6 over the Red Sox, who got the wild card. The Tigers 10 up over the Guardians, or Indians at the time. And the A's 6 games up over the Angels. But in the playoffs, as has become our trend, we got knocked out at the beginning. So a team that we beat and we're 10-5 against in the regular season defeated us after we won the first 2 games, and then we lost the last 3 in close ones every time. If we look at this one, we had a lead. Granted, it was early, but we still had the lead. If we look at game 4, we had the lead 4-2 going into the 8th inning, and then it was who gave it up? Brandon Webb going in a little bit too far, so he was just going on too long. And then we never had the lead in game 5 as we just never had a shot. So that was a disappointing one. But in the World Series, it was the Mets versus the A's, and the A's were able to win it in 6, coming back on taking 4 in a row after losing the first 2, which means the A's won their 8th World Series title. The last one they won was in 2004, so they have been doing very well. Johnny Estrada got the series MVP. Look at this. Barry Larkin still going at 43 years old, getting a World Series trophy, which is more than we can say. I don't know how we're not doing better than we are, but, I mean, the defense hurt us there, but the pitching, the bullpen, I thought we were going to be so much better than we were. So let's take a look at the final results as far as the league leaders and the awards, and then we'll do the draft. Matt Holliday ended up getting the title at 340. Ryan Braun with 52 home runs and 142 RBI to go with his 317 average. Carl Crawford, 46 stolen bases. Pujols, a 106.2 OPS. Matt Holliday with an 8-batter WAR. And Scott Hatteberg had a 25-game hitting streak. Rich Harden, a 3.24 ERA, while Dave Bush had 18 wins. CC Sabathia had 220 strikeouts. J.J. Putz, 44 saves, and Roy Halladay with a 5.9 pitcher WAR. In the NL was Matt Diaz hitting 337. Jim Thome had 52 home runs, and David Ortiz 134 RBI. Ichiro stole 62 bases. Also, how many runs did he score? 112 and 213 hits. He's been great for us. David Ortiz had a 106.7 OPS along with Jim Thome. Thome, though, had a 7.3 WAR. Mark DeRosa had 26-game hitting streak to match Jeter's first half one. Tim Hudson, that was a good signing for us, had a 2.47 ERA. Chin-Ming Wang, 19 wins. Jake Peavy, 231 strikeouts. Trevor Hoffman and David Weathers both had 42 saves, and Jake Peavy with a 7.7 pitcher WAR. So let's take a look at the awards and see who ends up walking away with what. Starting with the Gold Gloves, it was Jake Westbrook in the AL for pitcher, Chris Hoyles at catcher, Justin Morneau at first, Marcus Giles at second, Melvin Moore at third, Scott Brocious at short. Look at these Yankees. And the outfield was Matt Holliday, Jason Tyner, and Alex Rios. In the NL, Dan Herron for the Padres, Ivan Rodriguez getting his 4th one, which is interesting to me. And he's nowhere near Hall of Fame standards here. He's got roughly the same. Okay. Todd Helton at first, Howie Kendrick at second, Corey Koski at third, Adam Everett at short. The retired Jim Edmonds at left ended getting his first one, was in his last year. Does he have a shot at the Hall of Fame? He's not really, not based on the standards that we've been seeing. Ryan Friel in center and Jack Cust in right. Reliever of the year in the AL went to Francisco Cordero with 88 strikeouts, a 2.38 ERA, and his 27 saves. J.J. Putz got one first-place vote with his 44 saves, but it wasn't enough. Houston Street won it in the NL. Jonathan Papelbon picked up 3 first-place votes, but it was Street with 28 saves and a 1.77 ERA. Our Silver Sluggers go to Brian McCann at catcher, Albert Pujols at first, hitting 44 home runs. Michael Young hitting 334 at second. David Wright, the same, at third. Mark Ellis at short. And the outfield was Matt Holliday, Johnny Damon, Vladimir Guerrero, and Derek Lee at DH, having a bounce-back season after a disappointing 2006. In the NL, Adam Wainwright hitting 371 with 3 home runs. I should have had him hitting the whole time. Good grief. Joe Mauer at catcher, Jim Thome at first, Hanley Ramirez at second, Mike Lowell at third, A-Rod at short, Manny Ramirez at left, Jason Worth in center, and Corey Hart in right. I believe this is the World Series that Mike Lowell won the World Series MVP. I might want to fact check. Yeah, he did. He was the MVP in that series. Rookie of the Year goes to Ryan Braun. How about that? That is a repeat of real life. Unanimously with his 52 home runs and 142 RBIs. In the NL, it was Hunter Pence. 19 first place votes, beating out Giovanni Gallardo, who picked up 11, and Hunter Pence hitting 268 with 20 home runs. Pedroia apparently not anywhere to be found. Maybe he was already not up yet. Cole Hamels picks up the Cy Young for the Yankees. 16-3 record. That's outstanding. Halladay, Sabathia, Harden, and that's it. All pick up a first place vote. In the NL, it was Jake Peavy, just as he did in real life. 26 first place votes, while Javier Vasquez and Tim Hudson picked up 2 apiece. The MVP went to David Wright, while Ryan Braun picked up 1. But David Wright held off Albert Pujols and Matt Holliday, hitting .334 with 35 home runs, 7.9 WAR. That's deserving. And it was Jim Thome unanimously picking it up over David Ortiz, who, if it weren't for Thome, he probably would have gotten unanimously as well, because they were neck and neck at first base in OPS and batter WAR. But congratulations, Jim Thome. Now let's take a look at the big names in the draft. Looks like Charlie Blackmon, Marcelo Ozuna, Buster Posey, Alex Avila, Jonathan Villar, Madison Bumgarner, Jan Segura, Ender Inciarte, Jake Arrieta, and Josh Harrison. So let's see what this draft has in store. Unfortunately, we were winning a little too much at the end, and we end up with the 32nd draft pick, which means we're going to get nothing from this draft. We are expected to get Richard Blair. Sure, I'd rather have D. Gordon. We know D. Gordon can at least steal us some bases and do something for us. I don't have a clue who the other guy is. Charlie Blackmon's expected to go first. It doesn't matter. None of these guys are going to get to us. Eric Hosmer's out there. Wait, what Will Smith is this? No. I was hoping this was secretly our Dodger Will Smith. Okay, so let's get this draft started and see how the first round plays out. Oh, Craig Kimbrell's in this draft as well. He'll probably go way early. What do we have as far as hitters go? Anybody that we didn't notice? We'll find out when we get there. So with the first pick of the draft, Minnesota's going to take Buster Posey. Charlie Blackmon goes to Seattle. The Dodgers take Alex Avila. Jake Arrieta to the Phillies. Marcelo Ozuna to the Nationals. Madison Bumgarner to the Rays. Ryan Cook to the Rangers. David Price, missed him on there, to the Royals. Craig Kimbrell goes to the White Sox. Jonathan Villar to the Cubs. Jan Segura to the Pirates. The Rockies take Jordan Walden. Danny Santana to the Cubs. The Astros get Juris Familia. Brad Hand to the Braves. Lance Lynn to the Pirates. Lucas Litke to the Twins. Nick Vincent to the Marlins. Kelvin Herrera to the Diamondbacks. Tyson Ross to the Padres. Will Smith to the Orioles. Jesus Aguilar to the Blue Jays. Colin McHugh to Cleveland. Ryan Presley to the Brewers. Aradis Vizcaíno to the Giants. Josh Harrison to the Angels. Richard Blair to the Red Sox. The Reds take Avisail Garcia. Brandon Crawford to the Tigers. Aaron Hicks to the Mets. Starlin Castro to the A's. And so they say we should take Andrew Kashner. I don't know who Andrew Kashner is, and I'm not going to take him. Eric Hosmer is out there, though, and I know he at least has a solid career. That's potential, but it's at a position we definitely do not need. D. Gordon is out there. That is at least enticing to me. Not seeing anybody else standing out. What about in the pitcher categories? Nathan Eovaldi. He's serviceable. Might actually be better to have long term. Rick Porcello. I mean, he really had one really good year, a couple other solid ones, but that's not what we want to see. Jake Odorizzi, this is a guy I thought was going to be something at one point. So again, on fantasy team, didn't pan out. Okay, we're going to go with Nathan Eovaldi. See how this goes. And the Yankees, to wrap up the first round, take Andrew Cashner. So we will wrap this episode up here. I want to thank you for joining me on this one. We will come back next week for the next 2 seasons. We're getting closer. We are down to 18 seasons left. So that should be 9 episodes. And we will then do a wrap-up after that to see how the Hall of Fame compares, how the records compare for the 1920 on, and to see where the differences are, World Series championship numbers, and all of that. And it'll be great to see how this thing played out at the end. But I want to thank you again, like I said, for joining me. Be sure to come back next time, leave those likes, and we will see you then. So take care.